But yeah, definitely medics for the win. And now we are in a new map. I believe the map changed onto not Cold Front. This is, oh, I forgot the name. Oh well, it's a map that has snow, so that's all you need to know. It rhymed, didn't it? Well, that's one way to do it. Nice. That's a clean kill. It's a clean kill. Oh, I was definitely in like a rush. Like I was like, oh, I see an enemy. I better snipe him as fast as possible. That's a good shot. See, that was a good shot because I actually took my time. You can, even if it wasn't a kill, it doesn't matter. That could have been a pretty good kill if I think I was so inclined on getting kills that I just didn't focus. That's all. I just find that I think the best way to approach sniping is just to relax and just stay calm. Like just take a breath and just take a deep breath and just relax. And don't expect like to have great moments all the time. That's what I found, like especially when it comes to getting montage clips, they always happen at the most random times. And I've hit a few throughout this series so far. It's just you can't get in there expecting to get clips. It just ruins. It's one, they're not going to happen to you. It's going to happen even less, I found. And two, it's just a bad attitude to approach a game. I found that just they happen randomly, and what is it? Because that's what this game runs off of. Its variables. Yeah. It's all variables, and just don't come in expecting the clips, and it just ruins your fun. If you're trying to have fun, you're not gonna have fun trying to expect to get montage clips and get quad feeds or triple collaterals or 8-man feeds, anything outrageous. You know, that's what I've learned the hard way. And I'm still struggling with that. It's just reality of it. I'm only human, after all. So what was I talking about? Weapons, right. Let's get on to the weapons of TF2. Yes, this soldier here trying to trying to bunny hop his way to, well, not bunny hop. That was a good shot. Oh, I should not have like stuttered around like that, or like just move my cursor left and right uncontrollably. Yeah. Alright, well, sniper rifles, yeah, I'll continue that. So the Machina, I mean, it's a tie between Machina and the normal rifle. Technically, I think the Machina is better. I just think it is. It's not as flexible depending on what you're trying to do sometimes. Like, for example, the normal hunting rifle, I mean, the fact that you can jump and no-scope is pretty huge, especially when you're evading. But Machina you can shoot in the air. There's kind of I guess a quote glitch. It's not really a glitch though. It's more like basically you when you walk off a ledge, for some reason the game identifies you as being on the ground. So you're still on the ground as long as you're not, I think. So while you're falling, you can actually scope in with the right mouse button, and you're still following. You're still falling. It doesn't cancel that, which is kind of funny. It's quite neat to use sometimes. Yeah, so you can do that with the Machina. You can still shoot in the air. Machina, the people like a non-experienced player may think like, oh, I can't no scope, may not be a big deal. To an experienced player, it is. I mean, no scopes are pretty important skill to have. It's so useful. It's one of the most useful things you can use in this game. That was a lucky shot. Yeah. This medic was very kind of him. But yeah, no scopes are just so useful. So the way you compensate for that with a Machina though is you use a quick scope, literally quick scope, like Counter-Strike, Crossfire, Combat Arms, like those kind of quick scope, like instantaneous. Quick scopes are very different in the depending on the game. For example, Call of Duty is your animation is you scope in, like your you see the animation of the scope coming in, and then as soon as the reticle shows up, then you snipe. That was a really lucky crit. Yeah. Yeah. So it's pretty good though. So unlike Counter-Strike, that kind of quick scoping, there's no animation coming up when you scope in. There's no, like, you don't see the rifle move towards the center of the screen when you're aiming. So that kind of quick scoping is different. I call it instantaneous quick scoping, where the reticle's just bam, it's right there. That's what the way TF2 is, and so you can still quick scope, and the way you do that is you just, as soon as the scope pops up, you just fire as soon as you can. So that's how Machina can compensate with the no scope, which is quite useful. Especially when, like, for example, there's a soldier, let's say you headshot him, and you don't have an SMG, let's say you have a Jarate or a shield. Well, I mean, you can't, there's nothing you can do about it. Only thing you can do is try to melee him, which, if he's close, maybe he has his shotgun or his melee out, you could do that. Or you can quick scope him. That's how you compensate for it. If you had the normal rifles, you could just no scope him and you would finish him off. So I think the hunting rifle is a little bit more proficient when it comes to finishing off targets. But the Machina, I find, is really good for securing kills, a little bit better at it, and just getting collaterals. I mean, collaterals are huge, especially montage clips. I'm sure anyone who's trying to get montage clips, which it's just not common at all in TF2. It's a lot of, like, really, like, from what I found, a lot of TF2 quote edits, they're really just like people just slap in a bunch of clips. They don't do any effects. They don't do any of that. It's either a blend in or just an instantaneous transition. It's really, I consider it lazy, but the reality is, I mean, TF2's montage making is very bland. But that's the way it is. People prefer the community. That's the way the community is built upon. It's very, very generic, very simple. It's just, here are the clips. I don't want to see any glow. I don't want to see any lens flares. I don't want to see any of that. I don't want to see slow-mos. And that's just the reality of it. And people are very picky when it comes to that. I've seen those edits, but they're very, like, it's just, the community is just really, it's different compared to Call of Duty's montage clips, from what I've noticed. But yeah, Machina is quite nice. I like to use it. That tracer isn't too much of a big deal, but sometimes when you're sneaking up behind an enemy line and then you're trying to snipe everyone, and everyone's going to notice you a lot more quickly than the hunting rifle, even though they can hear your shot eventually. Yeah, so Machina still is good. Hunting rifle is good. I got the AWP. Yeah, but they're all good. What else? What other rifles are there? Okay, I'll do the Huntsman last, since it's, well, actually, Huntsman, well, I only use that when I feel like I'm not gonna snipe well, and I feel like, I end up in a lot of close quarters fights, I guess, but I just don't use it that often. I really don't. I just don't like it, and, I don't know, I just don't use it that much. It's nice, it's just, I prefer to play sniper as he is, with the rifle, just because that's the way I like it. Rifles. Yeah, rifles. Bazaar Bargain. That is a pretty good gun. I have a friend, he uses that quite a bit, and he, Axe, remember him? He was in the other episode, I think episode 5? I played with him. That's one rifle he does like to use on occasion. That and the Hitman's Heatmaker. They're both quite good. But I don't know, I guess he's just kind of varied depending on what the situation is or how he feels. To me, I just don't like the Bazaar. I just never use that thing. It's so, I feel like it should only reduce it when you miss, in my opinion. Like, it should only reduce heads when you miss. Because, like, for example, and that includes, like, missing a sentry. Like, I think one thing that's frustrating is you get, like, 5 headshots, let's say, and you worked really hard to get them, assuming you did, or at least a little. But the problem is, let's say there's level 1 sentry. You could kill it with, that was a good shot, by the way, you could kill it with a full charge shot. Well, okay, let's do that. Oh, wait, you shoot it and you lose, like, I forgot what the penalty is, like 2 heads or 1? I mean, that's pretty painful to lose those headshots. after all that work, and you lose that charge duration, which is really not cool at all. Personally, I think it should only reduce it when you miss, and I would actually make it more viable, just because when it comes to sentries, you're trying to be useful, but you just can't because you need to save the headshots. So that's why I don't know. That's why the Bizarre Bargain, I think it may need a slight buff, just only reduces heads when you miss. Then again, I haven't looked at the wiki page in a while, so I could be wrong right now, which is fine. I'm okay with being wrong as long as it's fact. Rather know the facts than believe in blasphemy. Not blasphemy, but believe in like unproven data that is bias, you know, like what I'm saying. No, basically, I want to know the truth. I want to get my facts straight, so I don't go preaching, unproven facts. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just talking about the game in general. It's not very good at, you know. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, Bizarre Bargain, not a bad gun. I think it needs a slight buff, but it's good. And the Hitman's Heatmaker, I guess I'll go to. By the way, when the Machina came out, I was really happy because it finally we could collateral. Even though I wish you could do that way before TF2 came out, but yeah. So the Hitman's Heatmaker, it's a nice gun. It definitely has its potential. It's a little awkward when you get a focus and you're trying to no-scope someone to finish them off, or you know, you just don't want to use it but you have to kill like a medic or something, and it's sometimes a little upsetting. And the no-scope, the body shot thing isn't bad. Dead ring or spine. Yeah. Looks like we hold this pretty well. Nice. Yeah. Hitman's Heatmaker, the no-scope, I mean, I body shot people because I no-scope them. I always no-scope them just because 50 damage against, like, what does it do? Like 34 or something? Or 23? I mean, that's not very good compared to, I think it's like 30 something, 34 or something. But it's just, I don't know. I don't know. If you're, it's more for pros. It really is. I guess that's the best way to put it. And technically, it just depends on the situation. Hitman's Heatmaker and Bizarre are kind of at neck and neck. Theoretically, the Bizarre is better, because if you can get enough headshots to, you know, beat the Hitman's Heatmaker, you will just destroy people, especially if you keep headshotting. But the Hitman's Heatmaker, I mean, there may be moments where you just won't get enough headshots, and you need to do something, you know? So it just really depends on the situation, it looks like. But I think theoretically the Bizarre is better. It's just sometimes there are moments where it won't give you headshots. You really have to be like the perfect player too, for the Bizarre to be the best gun. Technically it is the best. But really, well, no gun's the best gun, is there? But I'm just comparing between those two. I'm not comparing between everything. But Hitman's Heatmaker, I use that quite a bit. There are moments where it really shines, especially on payload maps, or where there's just the enemy team's just coming in one by one and you're headshotting every single one. It's a great gun, but it's just not my style, just because. Well, I'll use it quite a bit. I use all sorts of guns. I'm open to using most of them. They're all good, but Hitman's Heatmaker, I'm not too much of a fan, but it looks cool. It looks like a WA2K, which is always very cool. I like seeing guns that kind of have that classic reference.